Good morning, North Davies. We are back better than ever here on the Coach's Corner. I'm joined this morning with Jack Townsend, Tyler Dunbar, and Shom, all members of the Cougar News Network and also podcast extraordinaires. We're going to bring you this morning everything Halloween. TD is going to bring us the history and the origins of Halloween. Shom is going to bring us his top 5 Halloween movies, and we'll critique and talk about those. And Jack's going to bring you local haunted houses, times, and cost. This podcast is especially for all you Halloween lovers and those of you that like the spookiness of this time of the year. Ike Wolford, I know, is one of those guys, according to my fellow podcast members here. So, Ike, this one's especially for you. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. TD's going to lead us off with the history and origins of Halloween. Good morning, TD.
Good morning, guys. So as we know, October 31st is Halloween. This dates back just about 2,000 years ago, the Celtic festival called Samhain. The Celts believed that brutal cold winters were often associated with human death. They believed that on October 31st, when they celebrated Samhain, that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. They also thought that spirits made it easier for druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. And then, as time went on and people started to kind of settle down in America, the celebration of Halloween was limited in colonial New England because of Protestant beliefs. As European and American Indians kind of gelled a little bit, got used to each other, an American version of Halloween was born. And I think the parties then, they were a little bit different than what we celebrate today. A lot of them, had stories of the dead, fortune telling, and then dancing and singing.
Yeah, I know. I did a little bit of research as far as, looking up Halloween costumes in like early 1900s and when Halloween was first, really being celebrated or recognized in the United States, and it's pretty creepy. It's very creepy. If you go, everybody out there, just do a quick Google search, 1900s Halloween costumes, and, you'll probably think that what you were wearing this year is a little weak because what they had was pretty intense. So,
yeah.
And I think that's a pretty, that statement you made earlier about on the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. That's a pretty heavy statement there, and I feel like that's like straight from Thriller. That's Michael Jackson's Thriller done over again. So, you got anything else to throw in? We'll come back to you, or you can keep going.
Yeah, I got a little bit more. So by that time, it wasn't celebrated nationally, and the Irish were fleeing the Irish potato famine, and they started to spread it kind of nationally, and then we started borrowing the Irish traditions and started dressing up, which led to, the tradition of trick-or-treating. And then by the 1800s, a mold kind of got away from more of the witchcraft and got more into what we do today.
Mm-hmm. And talking about trick-or-treating, and those of you that are going to be going out trick-or-treating or also passing candy out, a little fun fact for you. Did you know that 1/4 of all the candy sold annually in the United States is purchased during the Halloween time of year? So a lot of buying of candy, a lot of eating of candy. But, I know my parents were very lenient this time of year. They were much more lenient than on a random Tuesday in August, as far as my eating of candy. And so, enjoy it and have fun when you're out there trick-or-treating. So, TD, thanks. We'll come back more to you in a little bit. We're going to throw it over to Shom. Shom's going to give us a couple movies. He's narrowed the long list of Halloween movies down to about 5. And I'm going to let him take the floor, and then we'll all chime in as we've all seen a lot of these movies as well. So, Shom, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so yeah, as Coach here said, there's a lot of Halloween movies that have been created throughout time. And narrowing down to 5 was a little bit tougher than I thought it'd be. But might as well get into it. So first one, I can't really call it a movie, but the Halloween series, top notch, can't be beat. Michael Myers, right up there. Then after that, I believe you got to go with good old Friday the 13th, as it's kind of moved on past like the movie. There's been games made about it. You know, you go to Camp Crystal Lake, try to escape. You do, you win. And it's actually now getting a reboot announced 3 days ago because the new Halloween's doing so well. LeBron James is co-producing a new one. And after that, one of my favorites, good old Monster House. The only scary movie to ever almost ruin my childhood. 5 years old me did not enjoy watching that movie. And then after that, I believe you got to go with Nightmare on Elm Street. Good old Freddy Krueger. And then last but not least, fifth, Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington.
Yeah, one of my favorites of the list that you gave is probably Halloween. It's doing really well. The new one that just came out. It's if you follow movies or anything like that, there's a website called IMDb, Internet Movie Database. It's got a 7.4 out of 10, which is a really high score. Anything above 6 is pretty good on that website. Haven't you guys seen the new Halloween?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
But my dad and my sister and I grew up. I mean, he brought us up watching Halloween. We've got all the series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees. Yeah, he's. I definitely grew up on both of those. They were always on during this time of year. You kind of centered your weekends almost around getting bundled up on the couch and getting some popcorn and trying to get as scared as you possibly can. And I hope that that's something I can do someday with my family, and I'm sure you guys still do those things. But and then as far as the few others Shom mentioned, The Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my wife's personal favorites. It's a Disney movie, and I never really got into that one as much, and so I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it. But definitely wanted to mention that my wife is a huge fan of that one, and also it received an 8.0 out of 10 on IMDb. So another really classic movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, 7.5 out of 10. So again, really really solid movie. Came out in 1984, back before any of us were born. There's been remakes. There's been Freddy versus Jason, right?
That's a good one.
That's a good movie, really solid. There's been a lot of spin-offs on all these horror movies and scary movies, and you've got more than just what we've mentioned. You've got the Saw series, which I know probably a lot of us have seen.
Well, they just came out with a new one, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
That one was pretty solid.
Yeah, there's those Saw movies, sometimes you feel like they're running out of ideas, so they're just kind of throwing out a last gasp, if you will, to try to keep making movies, but they tend to keep being popular, and I think the whole idea of playing the game they talk about on there is what brings people back. Definitely interesting stuff. Jack, you got any favorite Halloween movies?
Well, I know for a fact Shom was not lying when he said Monster House ruined his childhood, because I remember watching that as a kid, and it sure was scary to me. 6 or 7 years old watching it. I had nightmares for a week straight after watching it during Halloween, so he's not lying about that.
Yeah, that one's a little newer, right? Like 2000, mid-2000s.
2006,
Yeah,
I believe.
2006. Its score was a 6.6, but again, these are just people critiquing
That
it.
doesn't do that justice.
That is, yeah. Well, these guys don't think that does that justice. I may have to go home and watch this movie, especially before Halloween, to kind of see if I have that same feeling that you guys felt.
I think another one that we don't have on the list, Children of Corn.
Children of the Corn, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as scary as these, but whenever I was little and watched that, and I'd go over to Grandma's house, their house was in a cornfield, and after supper they'd have me throw out the mush or whatever we didn't use, and it was in the cornfield, so I'd throw it out in the cornfield and just sprint and not look back. That would give you nightmares for sure.
Yeah, and shifting gears a little, we're going to talk about a couple different Netflix series that I really like that are kind of centered around the suspense and thriller and that whole thing. One of them is one of everybody's favorites, Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of us have seen both seasons. A lot of our listeners, I'm sure, have as well. The Upside Down and those kind of things. I bet that's a pretty popular topic or scene when you go around to these haunted houses that we're going to talk about here shortly. So, guys, Stranger Things, got any favorite things on? One thing about Stranger Things that's pretty cool is it's actually set in Indiana. It's a made up town, but it's still an Indiana series, and that's always pretty cool when you watch something that you really like and it's in your home state. So, Stranger Things, you guys a big fan?
Oh, major fan.
Yeah.
For sure. It's my favorite.
I was
Favorite
late.
Netflix series.
I was late getting into it. It was hard for me to get into it. I had to make myself watch the first 2 or 3 episodes. But once I got through those, I mean, I binge watched for a week,
Yeah.
finishing both seasons.
Yeah,
So-
my wife and I definitely, when that first episode come out on that whatever day that was for season 2, we were, we really didn't know what it was for season 1, and we tuned in, we watched it, and her favorite time of the year as far as movies, her favorite movie is It. If that tells you anything, she used to fall asleep to watching It rather than like Winnie the Pooh or something like that. So she was falling asleep to watching It, and you can only imagine, her getting into Stranger Things. So yeah, we're definitely big fans. Another one that I just started watching that's pretty much brand new on Netflix is a show called The Haunting of Hill House. Those of you that have Netflix, you probably have seen it at the top of the screen when you get previews of different series and things like that. We're only 1 episode in. It's got a 9 out of 10 on IMDb and a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Both very, very solid scores. We're 1 episode in, and basically it's about this house that is haunted, and it kind of goes back and forth between these kids' childhood and their adulthood, and it kind of keeps bringing you back and forth about how they are getting to where they are now in life. Some of them have gone crazy because of their experiences. Some of them have stayed normal and sane, and they've wrote books about it. Definitely something I recommend you get into. That's definitely something we're going to watch this weekend leading into the Halloween time. So you guys got any closing comments on movies and or series?
Yeah, about that Haunting of Hill House is, Tyler can correct me if I'm wrong, but in English class this year we were reading, wouldn't really call them horror books, but getting into like this murder mystery. So we're reading these like somewhat creepy books, and that Haunting of Hill House is, can't remember the author's name at the top of the moment, but it's based off a book, and we read one of the other author's books, and she showed us this was coming out on Netflix, and we watched a preview of it, and I definitely got to add to my list to watch.
Me too.
No doubt.
Also, Stranger Things. Going back to that topic, they just said not too long ago the next season was supposed to come out here on the 27th, and they decided that there's a little touches they got to do, so it's coming out. It's supposed to come out next summer.
Yeah,
So I can't
2019.
wait. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Netflix series is that that are Netflix originals. You got to wait. You got to put in your time to wait for that next series. But it's worth the wait. Definitely, Stranger Things and The Haunting of Hill House, 2 really good Netflix series is out there that will get you into the Halloween spirit. Finally, last but not least, we will talk with Jack here. Jack's going to give you some information about local haunted houses and times, or at least definitely some costs and locations. So, Jack, good morning, welcome, and what do you got for us?
Good morning, Coach. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. The first haunted house I had was Frightmare's Haunted House, located in Linton, Indiana. It's a private company owned by Alex and Christy Phipps and Keegan Inman. It's $8 for 10 and under, $10 a ticket for adults. I was reading the website, the About tab, and I found it very interesting that the owners have made it their goal to provide some of the highest quality haunted entertainment while giving back to the community through different community events such as hosting an annual blood drive. I read that and I was, it just seemed really cool to me. I had to ask Coach and Shom what this meant, and I guess they host a blood drive and it's just a community event.
TD says he's been to that one.
Yeah.
If
Maybe a couple years ago or recently, or
yeah, I think that's the one that I've been to. It's one. There is one in Linton that I went to a few years ago. That right where the curve that goes around by Linton Sporting Goods. It's right around there. I think you might have went with me, or maybe it was Max Wessner. And that's probably one of the scariest haunted houses I've ever been to.
Nice.
They've got it going through their garage and out the back of the house, and it's good.
Cool. So that's Frightmare's Haunted House in Linton. Short 30-minute drive across the county. So what else you got, Jack?
The second one I had on my list was Fear Fair, located in Seymour, Indiana. $20 a person. I know me and Coach both went to that last year. It was actually, I went on a trip. It's one of my friend's birthdays last year around this time, so for his birthday, we went over to the Fear Fair.
Yeah, I have been to this one.
Yeah.
It was for my my nephew's birthday. His birthday actually is on Halloween.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so we went over to this. That was what he wanted to do. I'm not a huge fan of haunted houses. I don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big, they give you glow sticks if you don't want to be touched or grabbed during the haunted house, and I definitely was holding those high and tight. But I was a little disappointed, to be honest, for the build-up that they put on out the show they put on. They have a DJ with the strobe lights and fog and smoke and stuff, and they play really loud music the whole time you're in line. It is $20. It's a little pricier. It's got a lot of hype, and I just didn't feel like it lived up to it. To be honest, I was a little I was not scared at all. For the price I paid and the drive that we had to make to get over there, it was. I think we could do bigger. You can do better, even locally, like Linton or Evansville. So, which we're going to get into here in a second. But what do you think of the haunted house?
At first I thought I didn't know what to expect. So first it was pretty scary for me, and then once you got halfway through, I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. So,
yeah.
Just like you said.
Yeah, it's pretty much how I felt
been
exactly.
Better for the price it is, but.
All right. What's going on in B-Town? What we got going on in Bloomington?
B-Town, being, from Bloomington, growing up in Bloomington, Barn of Terror, located north side of Bloomington. Fun fact there, I have a few friends that, run it. It's a locally owned haunted house. Josie Eisen, Kendrick Neal, I know you guys, probably scaring people around this time. But, I've been there twice, I think. I went last year and the year before that just because they were running it, and I wanted to see how much they could scare me. But for being as small as it is and just a small organization or a small haunted house, I thought it was pretty good.
What's it cost roughly, do you think?
I think it's about $10 a person.
Okay.
Obviously, I got a little discount because I knew the owners, but I think it was pretty good. Being to a couple other haunted houses, I think it's one of the best locally owned haunted houses there is.
Yeah, a lot of times those locally owned haunted houses sometimes turn out better than the bigger name, because of they put their own money into it, and if they don't make it good, they're not going to make any money. So so that's definitely something that locally owned businesses are going to try to accomplish. Jay Mullen over here trying to get on Cougar News Network. He's just not quite lucky enough to get there though.
Yeah, another one that you don't have on your list. It's pretty local. Haunted High in Washington. Okay. Washington Catholic puts that one on every year, and it seems to get better and better every year. I think it's around $10, but
awesome.
Yeah, I about pee my pants every year. It's pretty good.
Awesome. Those of you that like to travel south down at Interstate 69, we have one in Evansville, Jackson, to tell us about.
Yeah, Ghost Investigations. TD, I think, told me about this one. Located in Evansville, Indiana. We do not know the price for that. We try to look it up, but they seem to not have a website.
There wasn't as much information on this one, so we can't quite say with confidence that this is one that you should go to. But definitely, Ghost Investigations. If you're in the Evansville area and you want to find a haunted house for the weekend, definitely type in Ghost Investigations and see what you can come up with.
Yeah, Hannah Walker, junior here at North Davies, said that she went. I think it was last weekend. I shared French class with her, and she said that it wasn't very good.
Wasn't very good.
She didn't enjoy it at all.
Okay,
so,
well, good to know.
That's one person's
Thank you,
opinion.
Hannah. Yeah, but anyways, that's Evansville, and finally, if you're wanting to make a long hike up north, we have one in Indy that's pretty popular. Jackson, to tell us about that.
Yeah, last but not least, I'm pretty sure everyone has to have an idea about this. It's the Indy Scream Park, which is located in Indy. $23 to $38 a person, depending on when you go. If you go during the week, it's probably going to be around $23, $25. If you go on the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, it's going to be ranging up to $40. $5 more if you buy a ticket out the door. They have a killer website. If you go to the website, Indy Scream Park, you'll be able to buy a ticket off there and learn more about Indy Scream Park. But honestly, I've not been yet. I know I really want to go this year or next. I want to go soon for that matter, but I know a bunch of my friends have went, and they said, it's a little pricey, but best experience of their life, best haunted house you can get in the state. There's 4 or 5 different haunted houses you can go to. It's like almost like a park, more like a theme park, a haunted theme park.
Yeah, you can kind of pick and choose maybe which ones you want to go to.
But I heard it was killer. I heard money well spent, and
Pun
Awesome.
intended, right?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no-
oh
yeah.
no, yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what we've got from a haunted house standpoint. So those of you that are into those, kind of things on your weekends during this time, definitely look those up. And if you're in those areas, go enjoy those. Tyler's got something here.
Yeah, a little more on the Indy Screen Park. Hannah also went to this one, and I can't wait. I've never been, but I'm excited. I think I'm going to try to go this year if they. And I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have to look on the website what time
Absolutely.
they close it. But if you want to get a little bit of exercise, I've heard that they, with the little lights that you carry around, if you want to be chased, they'll chase you through the woods. And I've heard that they take you into separate rooms and lock you up for a little bit, and then they let you go, and you got to go find your group from there and travel through the woods. And
Yeah, that would not be for me.
I'd have to take
I would have to
on
be
that.
sitting in the car listening to the game or something. That would not be for me. But we're a few minutes here from our next class that these guys got to get to, and we're going to wrap it up. But this time of year is definitely one that I've got a lot of memories from growing up as a kid and dressing up with my little brothers and going from we didn't do a ton of trick or treating in Jasonville, like just at random houses, but we definitely traveled to our family members' houses, all our aunts and uncles and cousins and grandmas and grandpas, and they would really look forward to it, for us to show up in whatever we were wearing that year, and they had special candy for us that they knew we liked, and that's definitely, it's a big time of year for elementary students and junior high students and even high school students that want to get together. And I always used to pass out candy when I was a little older with my grandma, and I would always get a little annoyed people not showing up in costumes, and wanting candy. So if you are going out this weekend or whenever the Halloween, whenever trick or treating is next week, do your best to put a little effort into it and dress up and don't walk up to someone's house looking for a handout when you're just in your jeans and polo. So
don't be afraid to embarrass yourself a little bit.
yeah, exactly.
Have fun with it.
Have a little
Going
fun
out
with
this
it,
year.
enjoy it. It's the chances you have are few and far between to get out and do it. For those of you that are interested, definitely get out and do it and make the most of it. You guys, any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
Watch out for the good old Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael Myers definitely is back, and they say better than ever. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. We thank you again for tuning in, and wherever you may be at work, on your drive home, or sitting at your desk at lunch enjoying leftovers from last night while you're taking in our Halloween special this morning. So until next week, we'll be back next Friday, better than ever, with some new and exciting topic. But guys, go ahead and sign off.
Hoorah! Thank you. That wasn't too bad. That's pretty solid.